What's going on? Today we're on our way to go pick up a 1970s 6 horsepower Evinrude. Looks like it's in rough shape, so we'll see how it goes. There she is in all her glory. It's actually from the 60s. As you can see straight off the bat, we definitely got some cosmetics to touch up on. It's gonna be a big one. Let's look underneath the cowl. Ooh, that good old Evinrude blue. She is mighty clean under the latch though. Well, out of nowhere, the wind picked up like crazy in Florida, so hopefully you can't hear too much of that in the background. But straight off the rip, you can see fiberglass cracked on the cowling. I'm gonna go ahead and sand everything down, clean it up, and I'm gonna put some Bondo on there, and hopefully we can get this looking a little better than that. The first thing I'm gonna do is just go ahead and wipe it down with some water, just to get some dirt off of there. Obviously, there's no saving these decals, so bye-bye Evinrude decals. Let's give it a little wipe, just some water. Okay, what I'm gonna do first is go ahead and pull off all of this old beat up and cracked cowling trim. So I went ahead and removed all of that cowling seal. What I'm gonna do now is take an angle grinder and cut all of these staples and pull the old staples out. Oh, you can see daylight through here. Make sure you've got some eye protection. Now that we've grinded off the back of the old staples, we can go ahead and pull out the staples with a pair of pliers. Should come right off. All right. Now that all the old staplers are out, I think we're ready for some sanding. I'll check back in once I'm fully sanded. Now she is fully sanded down, and I am covered in fiberglass. Really nice. Also, I actually only ended up using 80 grit. It's very, very smooth for an 80 grit sand. Now we're going to give this some Bondo. I've never used Bondo before, so this will be a learning experience for me as well. So on Bondo's website, it specifically says to mix before using. Then it says to lay out a 3-inch in diameter puddle onto a non-porous surface. Let's say that's probably going to be good right there. I would say that's roughly a 3-inch in diameter puddle. And then it says to add a 3-inch line of hardener. So we'll go ahead and give this a 3-inch line of hardener. Mix thoroughly, and then I guess apply. Let's see what we can do. I guess if worse comes to worse, I can just go ahead and sand all of this down and try again. Wouldn't be ideal, but kind of reminds me of spackle. Never mind the gloves, I guess. It is starting to look pretty good in my eyes. Looks good from your house, I'm sure. This is an old birthday cake tray I'm using. It was my birthday. And my daughter's birthday. We were born on the same day. It's pretty cool. See if I can pull this tape off without it all coming off with it. Not too shabby if I say so myself. Well, now our Bondo is on. I'll go ahead and let this dry and then sand it down and see if we need to do a second coat. I believe the working time is like 20 minutes. It's like super quick. So I'll be back. Okay, well now that it's been about 20 minutes, we're going to go ahead and give this a sand. If we need to add a second coat, we will. It says specifically to sand with 80 grit sandpaper, and then work your way up. I'd personally say to myself, that didn't come out too shabby. I think I'm going to go ahead and give it a second coat anyway. I think I'm pretty happy with that. Now I'll let that dry and come back and sand it down in about 20 minutes. I'm glad I went ahead and did a second coat. We're going to go ahead and sand that down, and you'll see how it takes shape. As you can see after sanding, the Bondo has really taken the form of the cowling. Now we don't have to worry about fiberglass or holes. It's a new day and a beautiful one at that. Got the Bondo on, and I think today we're going to do some spray painting. The only thing I decided to tape off was the little latch. I'm just using regular old protective enamel, Rust-Oleum white gloss. Pure white. Nice. Spray painting in the grass on a nice windy day. I think we'll call that good for the first coat. I'll come back in a little bit, probably about 15 minutes for the second. Okay, it's been a little longer than 15 minutes. I decided to wait about an hour. I put a pretty thick coat for a coat. So we're gonna go ahead and put the second coat on now, and I think that'll do it for the white. I'm gonna get this out of the grass before one of them little green bugs jump on there. I'll check back in a little while once it's fully dry. So we've got the cowling painted. Bondo job at least took care of the hole. I was not expecting the white paint to really bring out the cracks like that. Still a little not very nice there, but honestly, I'm happy with it. What I'm gonna do now is paint some red and blue stripes along the side. I would get decals for this thing, but old Evinrude decals are like $60 online, so I'm not gonna put that much money into cosmetics. Gonna need to save that money for the parts and stuff. So we got some plastic bags taped up around the rest of the cowling and our first pinstripe ready for painting, so we'll go ahead and give this a shot. From my understanding, you want to start with the base layer first. What I mean by the base layer is you want to use the paint that you used as a background, which would be white in this case. You can try to do it without the base layer first, but from my experience, it's always left very jagged edges when you don't paint with the base color first. Okay, we'll let that dry for about 20 minutes and then put our red over it. It's been about 15 minutes and I'm getting impatient, so we're gonna go ahead and hit it. Our first pinstripe with the red. This is Sunshine Red. It's a bit darker than, a standard red. Trying not to get red paint on my driveway. Oh no, that is not good. Thankfully, even though that bag came off, we didn't get any red on the outside of where we want it. Now we will let that dry for about 15-20 minutes and then check back in. Okay, well, it's been probably about 30 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove this tape and plastic bags and see how it came out. Plastic bag's gone. Let's see if this stripe came out how I wanted it to. Nice and slowly. Not too shabby. See if we can do both at once. Might be a little risky, but why not? Oh no, look, it got fucked up at the bottom. Dang. It's gonna be a tough one to fix. Looks like I got spray all over this one. This side came out fine. This one seems to have a little got spray here and spray there. See what we can't figure out to fix that. I guess I'll do the blue stripe before I try to fix that red paint. Well, I had some technical difficulties and lost the audio on my last spray of the navy blue. Good old navy blue. Sprayed it with the base coat, waited about 15-20 minutes. We're just gonna give it an extra light coat. Nothing crazy. Unfortunate, my microphone died. That's how I lost the audio. And instead of my phone picking up the audio, it just decided it's not gonna pick up any at all. But now we're gonna give that about 15-20 minutes to dry and pull the tape. Well, it's been about 20 minutes, so we're gonna go ahead and pull this tape in plastic bags and see how the blue stripe came out. And man, I got blue overspray on this side. As you can see, somehow the paint got through. So it looks like I'll have to do some touch up on both sides, the red and the blue. I think the racing stripes came out pretty decent for a first timer. Doing the touch-up's gonna be pretty easy because all I gotta do is put tape over the stripes themselves. Well, I need to touch up a little bit of the white on the right side of the cowling. But I'm pretty happy with how this came out. Now all that's left is the new cowling trim, or the cowling seal. This stuff's pretty cool. It's actually made for car doors and various other seals. But basically there's just a little groove inside of there and it self-locks into place. So there's no need for super glue. It can be a bit hard to get on though. Looking pretty good if you ask me, and it fits just right. Nice and sealed. Well guys, I think that does it for this video. Stay tuned for the part 2 of this video where I'm going to be diving into the motor itself instead of just the cosmetics. Thank you for watching.